Well, hello everybody. Good morning to one and all. So today I just want to tell you that our class is going to be about English, and what are we going to learn in English is something called as very important, and that is phraseology. So when I speak about phraseology in English, we have the most important topics that have to be covered in English, and that is again communication skills. English is just a language, but communication skills are very much important when I speak about phraseology. So let me go ahead and take you with the phraseology. What is the phraseology here? We have idioms. When I speak about idioms, idioms exist in every language. As I have said you, it can be Telugu, it can be Hindi, it can be any language you take, Tamil, Karnataka, any language you take, idioms exist. That's why I have said you, irrespective of communications or irrespective of the language, communication skills are the most important thing, and in communication skills we have phraseology. And when I speak about the phraseology, the first thing that I want you guys to remember is idioms. Idioms exist in every language. An idiom is a word or phrase that is not taken literally, like bought the farm, has nothing to do with purchasing real estate, but refers to dying. Idiom also refers to a dialect or jargon of a group of people, either in a certain region or a group with common interest, like in science, music, art, or business. Common idioms used: a chip on your shoulder means you're holding a grudge. High as a kite means you're drunk or on drugs. Sick as a dog means you're very ill. So now, when I speak about the phraseology, and in phraseology we were been talking about idioms. So when I speak about idioms, idioms are just a little phrases that we use to give an example for a person. For example, you are as high as a kite. That means the meaning of that as an idiom is the person you're talking to is literally sick or very high on drugs, or he have drunk totally and he is totally exhausted, something like that. Once you see people who are drunk, they'll be going here and there and here and there. So that simply means they are going like a kite, right? So that is a phraseology that we can use whenever we are talking about the idioms. And let me give you another example: sick as a dog. When dogs usually get sick, they don't get up. They can never get up until and unless they got a vaccination. So it's the same. We compare some examples and we give it at one particular phrases, so that the other person will clearly understand what exactly the means of communication is. What are you trying to communicate to? So idioms are the most important thing that you have to remember, because these are not the meanings, but these are the examples on that particular situation you're giving on that particular time. So now let us see the next slide. Rub someone the wrong way, meaning to annoy or bother. Jump the gun would mean to be doing something early. Pay the piper means you need to face the consequences of your actions. Out of the blue means something happens that was unexpected. Break a leg means good luck. Being in the spotlight means you are the center of attention. Sail through something means being successful in doing something without difficulty. Work like a charm means works very well or has the desired effect. So these are a few of the examples of the idioms. If possible, write it down, because these are going to help you out and understanding. Now, before I go ahead with the phrase verb, let us see the entire detailed, clear idea of idioms. So, when I speak about idioms, people, idioms are something which gives you one proper sentence formation at that particular situation. That means clearly you are at a place where you are giving a presentation, and when you are giving a presentation, there could be a chances where you just have to utter a sentence or a few words which literally signify their situation. So when you want to signify the situation in one proper proverb or one proper sentence, these idioms can help you out in making them understand what you exactly want to communicate at that particular point. So this is idioms. And to have a clear note about what we were been learning and what we have to learn, we have so many things in forward to know about the situations. For example, you are going for a presentation, you are going to give a presentation. Yes, we have been learning about presentations already, isn't it? So, when you're going for a presentation, I would come to you and say, break the leg, come on. So what does this mean? It doesn't mean that go and break your leg and come back. No, that is not the meaning, isn't it? So break the leg means good luck, just have a good luck. That means you are indirectly going there and you're performing well and you're coming back with the excellent remark. So the same thing I'll tell in a different time. Out of the blue, when did you start giving presentations? So this sentence meaning, you have never given the presentations before. Out of the blue means suddenly, why are you doing this type of things? It's something like that. Out of the blue, my father have given me 100 rupees. So my father never gives me money. That means, suddenly he have given the money. So you will be explaining to somebody out of the blue at a sudden, or never ever had that opportunity and you're getting that. So this is what the meaning of it. Always remember that, right? So now let me take you with the next thing, that is phrase verbs. When I say space verb, or when I speak about phrase verbs, the phrasal verb is a verb followed by a preparation on an adverb. The combination creates a meaning different from the original verb alone. For example, ask around means ask many people the same question. Back someone up means support. What is a phrasal verb here? Someone. Blow up means explode. Break down means stop functioning. Check in means arrive and register at a hotel or airport. Count on means rely on. Get away means going on a vacation. So people, phrase verbs, I don't want to go back and speak about parts of speech. We are talking about verbs, we have been talking about, yes, we will be talking about parts of speech. Before I go, this is not called as, parts of speech. Phrasal verbs are nothing but to mention what the verb is doing, or you are directly giving a command, or this is a put up message for each and every person out there to make them understand. These are like little words of sentences which create a lot of meaning. For example, I think you have seen so many times, my car broke down, or my car broke down, or my car was break down. So what does this mean? It doesn't mean your car have broken totally. It just mean your car got into repair. Your car is for repair. So you just have to take the car to the service point. That is the meaning of it. Instead of saying all this entire thing, you'll be just telling, yes, my car got broke down. So this is what you can say that. And you have check-in. The right first moment when you get into a hotel, the people are going to say you to get into check-in. Check-in into the hotel. So what is check-in? You're arriving from somewhere and you're registering yourself onto the details of the bank, or the lodge or the hotel or anything that you're getting into. So registering yourself after arriving is simply called as check-in. And then we have get away. Just get away, man, get away from here, or get away. That simply means get away. Simply mean go on a vacation or go somewhere and have fun. Get away from here, brother. What does that mean? Go and have vacation. That's what it's meaning. So these are few of the examples that I want to say you. But again, remember people, idioms are not phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are different. Idioms are different. Idioms give you a basic example of that particular situation, or they give you to start the sentence, or they give you a good intense situation to put up a sentence out of the box. See, out of the box is idiom. But when I say phrasal verbs, it have a proper meaning. For example, count on me, count on me, I'm going to come back for you. So what is that? You rely on me, trust me that I'm going to come back. Count me on that I'm going to come back and pay your salary. That means I'll come back and definitely pay your salary. That's what it means. So phrasal verbs are always used to put up an exact sentence meaning at that particular point. So for giving you more details, I'll give you more examples, and if possible, please note it down because it will help you while you're talking in English. Yes? So let us see. So here are the few examples. Hang out, spend time relaxing. That means you can go with your friends, you can relax, or you're enjoying your way. Hang up, end a phone call. Hold on, wait a short time. Look down on, think less of, consider inferior. Pass out, faint. Pass away, die. Run away, leave unexpectedly, escape. Take off, start to fly. Turn up, appear suddenly. Wear off, fade away. Work out, exercise. So I think these are the phrasal verbs that you have been looking from so many days, and you will be going with your friends and you simply say, let's hang out, man. What does that mean? Let's hang out, people. So what does it mean? Hanging out is something that you go with your friends, have some time, occasionally, and enjoy and come back to get stress burst out. So that's what hang out means. So hang out is one of the best phrasal verbs that people use it regularly. And we have hang up, I am hanging up the call. So what does it mean? So you are putting the phone call, just hang up the call or just hang up. And then you have hold on. You say hold on usually when people are actually asking you something to write. For example, I am on a phone with you, I'm on a call with you, and in on call I'll say you, can you just note down the number? So you can't just keep quiet because the other person won't understand what situation are you. So to quickly grab a paper or pen, you can just say them, hold on for a while, or hold on a second, I'll just note it down. So hold on is something called phrasal verb which helps you out in understanding that particular situation, and that gives you an example of that particular situation. It's not example, it's just the meaning of the other particular situation that you want to express on. Okay. So next we have pass out. I got passed out giving an interview. That means you got fainted while giving the interview. Or you can just say, I got passed out by running and running and running. That means after running for a long time, you got fainted. So this is one of the examples that you can give for the meaning of faint. And then you can say, my grandmother have passed away. My grandfathers have passed away. Recently my dad passed away. So after my dad have passed away, I said my dad was passed away. So passed away is just a meaning that you can say when somebody got expired. So you can just say the person got expired, or you can just say the person got passed away. This is the meaning of it. And then we have something called as runaway. So runaway, the meaning of runaway is unexpectedly run. I mean, escape. He got run away in between the conversation. While he was having the conversation, he just got escaped from that particular situation. So you can just say this, and then you can say turn up. Why did you turn up, or how did you turn up, or why suddenly did you turn up? Turn up means suddenly appearing. Till now he or she was not there, suddenly she or he have turned up. So that means suddenly the person have come over there. All right, so this is the meaning of that. And then we have wear off, that means fade away. The color of my car got wear off. What is this wear off? See, I'll tell you what is the meaning of it very clearly. Wear off means simply, I'll tell you, wear off. What is wearing? You put on your clothes, isn't it? So when you put on your clothes, you use it every day. What happens to the color of your clothes? They get faded away, isn't it? So that's how the English dictionary have taken this word as a phrase of phrasal verb, so that as much as you wear, it get fade off. So wear off is simply an example on a few particular sentences where you can directly say that this particular thing got faded away. So when you are speaking about your car, or when somebody is speaking about the color of something, you can just say, the color got wear off, because as much as that thing is being used, the color got faded away. That is a simple meaning of this thing that you can use it. Okay. So now we have workout. Workout is one of the word which is being used very badly in especially metros. When you come to metros, when you go to Mumbai, when you go to Bangalore, when you go to Hyderabad, when you go to Kolkata, when you go to Gujarat, when you go to Rajasthan, when you go to anywhere, Delhi especially, people say, I am working out, don't disturb me at that particular point, because half of the people in the whole India, or half of the people every time after their workouts go to gym, they work out, isn't it? What is workout? Doing exercise and getting the muscles fit. So that is what a workout is. So you can just say half of the India is working out at this particular moment. So this is my workout time, so I can't just have a call. Sir, I am at my workout, so can I just give you a call back? So this is some of the phrasal verbs and examples that you can see as we were talking, right? So when I speak about idioms and phrase verbs, one of the most important things I just want to tell you is idioms are basically used to example one particular situation. Guys, I'll tell you what, people get so much confused when I speak about idioms and phrasal verbs at one particular point. So I really don't want you guys to get confused, because while you're talking in English, you might not see, many people might have grammar mistakes. You will, when you're talking, you will find so many grammar mistakes in your English. So what you can do, you can use this idioms and phrasal verbs at one particular situation, or at difficult situations. Okay, for example, you don't know, you were stuck at an interview, you can just say, the interviewer might ask you, what happened to your last interview that you have attended? You can just say, it was just, you can, or simply you can say, it was like a circus. It was like a circus. So this is an idiom. So what happens in the circus, we don't know. Every feat will happen, every kind of stunts will happen. So you can simply say, sir, my last interview was like a circus. So like a circus is an idiom. So this indirectly or directly says that the interview didn't happen properly. You had a lot of difficulties to finish the interview. That is an idiom. When it comes to the phrasal verbs, I'll put the same situation here. When you have gone for an interview, what you do, what are your hobbies? So you can just say, sir, my hobby is hanging out with my friends, or hang out with my friends, or hang out with my bike. So what do? You get onto your bike and you hang out with your friends, or something like that. Sir, you can just say look down on, or you can say, sir, I run away from the situations usually. So you can say, what is your weakness? Sir, I run away from the situations which I really can't handle. So these are some of the important things that you have to remember whenever I'm talking about the phrasal verbs. So now let me take you with the next thing, that is reporting promises, orders and requests. A lot of difference we have. So now let us see here. Promises, orders, requests, advice and suggestions are reported with infinitives. We usually use a reporting verb like promise, command, order, agree, tell, offer, advise or suggest. Here we have direct speech and indirect speech, as I have mentioned here. Where do you live? The stranger asked. The stranger inquired where I lived. So direct speech is putting the same question that the other person is asking you. Where do you live? The stranger asked. So this is like a order here somehow. And then we have direct speech in the given example. Call the first witness, said the judge. And then the judge ordered them to call the first witness. It's an indirect speech. So direct and indirect speech, I'll tell you a small example, people, or else I'll tell you the brief of direct and indirect speech, because I'll tell you reporting, promises, orders and requests are basically few of the things that we use in our regular life, because there are situations where you have to order, there are situations where you have to promise, there are situations where you have to report promise, there are situations where you have to request, there are situations where you have to be very polite, isn't it? So in that situations, we always have to see two kind of speeches, that is indirect speech and direct speech. For example, you and I are talking. What do you know? Kranth have asked me. So you are directly telling what I have asked you at that particular situation. And then you can say, while the class was going, Kranth have asked us what we were been learning at our classes. So this is the indirect speech. So you just have to remember the basic direct speeches and indirect speeches, especially in English, because this helps you out in putting up easy way of questions which can make the conversations more better at few particular situations. Okay, so let me see the last thing here, if you can see in the slide. We have be careful, I told him. Indirect speech. I told him to be careful. So indirect speech, you're talking, and indirect speech, you're explaining what have happened. So as simple as it is. So this is what I can say: reporting promises, requests, orders, and we have pleasing vocabulary that we will be using it. Okay. So now let me take you with few of the more examples. Let us see here. Let us see the problem of reporting promises, or what time you can basically use these examples. So let us see the slide here. If you can see, reporting promises. In reporting promises, we have direct. Could you please show me where the post office is? You directly are asking somebody. Indirect. She asked me to show her where the post office was. Or is, anything is the same. If it is past, it is was. If it is going, it is. Could you lend me your pen? She asked me to lend her my pen. Be quiet and listen to my words, he said. And he urged them to be quiet and listen to his words. It's a kind of order again. I told him, think again. I advised him to think again. So these are the few examples that you can find, especially when we are learning about the phrasal verbs, and then we have the pleasing verbs. Those are reporting or requesting promises, orders, and requests. So let me take you with the next slide. We have direct reporting promise as don't pluck the flowers. Now indirect. She told us not to pluck the flowers. Direct. I will call you as soon as I reach home. Indirect. She promised me to call me as soon as she reached home. You should find a job. She suggested that I should find a job, or she advised me to find a job. Direct. Will you keep quiet? Indirect. He told me to keep quiet. So these are the few examples that we have in the reporting promises. So now let us read this exercise very slowly. Hello, my name is Radhakrishnan. I work in a large company in Monterrey, Mexico. We make bottles and cans for soft drinks. I am a secretary. I answer the telephone and take messages. I also use a fax machine and a computer. My first language is Spanish, but sometimes I speak English. Many of our clients are from the United States. My supervisor is Mr. Torres. He is an engineer. I start work at 8. I usually drive to work. I have lunch from 1 to 2. I finish work at 5:30. I go home and help my mother prepare dinner. We have dinner at 9. After dinner, I usually watch television a while. I usually go to bed at 11. So, what did you get from this? You know, as much as we have been talking very slowly, you could find that I was being a little slow in making the people understand on what we have been learning and what exactly I'm using, you know. And then if I have to show you, you know, we have this, how exactly we are reading and how we are giving the punctuations or how exactly you're giving gaps. So before we go ahead with the reading exercises and make sure how exactly we are reading, guys, I'll tell you something. So many people get scared of talking in English or communicating with others because they think that they don't know anything, and then they'll be okay to write as well, you know. But the problem is, if you want to write even, you should have a good communication, if I'm not wrong, isn't it? So to get a communications, the first thing you have to make sure is read. That is why people say read newspapers, use books, read things. So what happens, as much as you read, as much as reading power you get and understanding levels will increase. So as much as you read, as much as you use different kinds of English phrasal verbs, idioms, you know, and then if you keep requesting manners, you have request promises, you have orders, you have requests, you know, all this will help you out in making others understand. Because when you talk in English, every person should feel comfortable in understanding you. So because of all these idioms, phrasal verbs, parts of speech, putting grammar in your English will help you out in understanding how exactly you can develop your English at particular situations. For example, when you go for an IELTS examination or when you go for a GRE test, you know, basically you should concentrate on verbal, and also you should concentrate on communication skills. So apart from that, if you go and talk to anybody, do you think the person will be very satisfied after talking to you? No, isn't it? So how to make people satisfy while they are talking to you? It's just by using all this, all right? So communication skills, in communication skills we have so many things to learn how to communicate first, because these will help you in getting and understanding good probabilities of putting up your conversation at particular situations. All right, so now let us see the next slide. Let us read this paragraph very slowly, the first paragraph. Halloween is one of the most famous holidays in the US, and it is on October 31st. People carve pumpkins and make funny faces on them. These are called jack-o'-lanterns. On October 31st, children wear a special costume such as a witch, ghost, or clown. They go to many houses and they knock on the door saying, "Trick or treat." It means that if people don't give them a treat, they will play some kind of trick on the household. So usually people give candy to them. I carved my first Halloween pumpkin at my friendship family's house. First, I cut open the top of the pumpkin and pulled the seeds out. It was not good for me because it was sticky and smelled awful. I had never carved a pumpkin, so it was interesting for me. Next, I carved the eyes and the mouth. I wanted to make a face like a pirate. When I finished making the face, I put a candle inside. It was very beautiful, so I was happy. So here at this particular moment, we are reading about a festival called Halloween, where usually people get dressed like ghosts, and they dress themselves like different kinds of horror things. Okay, and what they do, they just go and knock the door saying treat or trick. So trick or treat means, should I trick you or will you treat me? So that is a basic thing that every person in US do on October 30th. So this is what you just have to remember. October 31st is the most important thing for US people as a festival. So I was been explaining here about the festival that they celebrate, and also what I have done on that particular situation. So this makes the person, whoever is listening to you, will understand what is that and what are you talking. So Phraseology, when I speak about phraseology, we have a lot to learn. So today we have learned about idioms, where they give you an example of that particular situation, and then we have learned phrasal verbs, that means the correct meaning, or the proper meaning of another sentence. And then we have request promises, and we have orders, and we have pleasing manners. In that we have learned what are direct speeches and what are indirect speeches. I have given you a few examples, so try to make some of them use in your regular activities. So today we have learned about phraseology, day 1 class, introduction to idioms, introduction to phrasal verbs, and introduction to direct and indirect speech of promise, request, and orders. So this is what we have learned today. Thank you so much for listening to my class and being patient in my class. And try to share the video if somebody needs the English classes. Thank you so much for listening to the communication class of today. And I'll be taking more classes about phraseology tomorrow. Please attend the class. Thank you so much, and I am from APSSDC.